Chief and TJ. It's a TW non-T show or a WT show. Not plugging in the F. Once again, folks, we're glad to be here. Slightly exciting slate, I think, for a Saturday, TJ. I don't know how you feel about it. Now, I know this first game, I think we feel like, and I know I'm kind of hopping right in here. I think we feel like Baltimore's kind of going to run away with this thing. But this Steelers-Bengals game is huge. So I'm pretty excited. We had a little reprise of the music.
I don't know why that happened.
Yeah, it wanted to come back in. We're good. The music wants to hang out with us. So I'm actually pretty excited about a little two-gamer. TJ, what are your thoughts? How are you doing today? And then we'll kind of, completely dive in. But interesting little slate for a Saturday.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you today. I'm very excited for this Thursday slate because this Saturday slate, because not only should at least the second game be fun, first one probably not so much. Second game should be a lot of fun, and it has huge implications for tomorrow's slate. So yes. I've been on a ton of NFL shows over the last couple of days, and I've been talking about how there are certain players like J.K. Dobbins, who I will love if the Chargers have something to play for. But if I'm not mistaken, they're good. They're in if the Steelers win today. But if the Bengals win, the Chargers need to win, have a chance to move up in seeding up above the Steelers if they win that game. So in that case, they'll likely be playing their starters. So lots of implications in this one, going beyond that game as well. But that was just kind of one of the spots I have circled. So really looking forward to, especially that second game. And the first one for my main lineup today, I'm kind of just hoping is a bit of a dud.
Yeah, I totally understand. I guess what I was thinking is, are they just going to kind of run away with it early and then kind of take their foot off the gas? You get what I'm saying? Like they should, because the Browns are supposedly sitting they're sitting a lot of key players that aren't necessarily offensive players, but defensive players also. And so I'm pretty excited about what this slate could look like if you can nail some of the secondary pieces. Because I think somebody on the Ravens is going to have a big game, but I don't think it's going to be like 5 people. I think it's either Lamar or Derrick Henry, and probably maybe none of the receivers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like one of those two, and so that's kind of my read on the game. But anyway, we'll get into it shortly. Quarterback position, TJ. We're just going to start. We're going to go position by position. At the quarterback position, we've got a few options. So you've got Lamar, obviously, who I think we all feel like could be a slate breaker. But we've got these guys in the other game, Joe Burrow and Russell Wilson, who have tons to play for. So, and they're all different prices. So what are your thoughts here, TJ? Burrow and Lamar Jackson are closer in price. Wilson's 5,300. And the last time these two teams met, boy, were the passing yards piling up. He threw for 414, which has been the story against Cincinnati all season. What are your thoughts at the quarterback position? And, how are you valuing Russell Wilson today at home against Cincinnati at 5,300 when when Lamar may not have to be put on the cape today to get his team to W?
Yeah, so it's tough, but I think my current plan for this one is to load up on Joe Burrow. And he's like, so I'm playing, I told you before the show I was playing one lineup. I've decided I think I'm actually going to go 3 and basically just have my main big lineup. It's a Joe Burrow stack. It's my main single entry. And then I have 2 much smaller dollar things in there as well as kind of like a, hey, just in case this happens, I'll go here. So main lineup is Joe Burrow today. He's going to be my favorite for large field tournaments, but Lamar Jackson at $8K, only $500 more than Joe Burrow. Like, it's tough not to just go, hey, I can find $500. Let's play the best fantasy football quarterback in all the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like Lamar. Hear me out. I think this is a game where Here's how I think Lamar's stat line goes today, TJ. I think he throws for 180. I know that's like a small number here, but just follow me here. I think he throws for 180, but he could have 2 passing touchdowns. And then maybe he rushes for 45 and 1 touchdown. I don't know if that's enough. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
I just don't know if that's enough if Joe Burrow and Russell Wilson end up in another shootout again. And that's my concern with Lamar. I'm with you on Burrow where he's probably the stable one. I also feel like Russell Wilson against Cincinnati, throwing for 414 against Cincinnati wasn't a fluke. People have thrown for yards against this team all season. Yeah. And when I'm thinking about the fact that I probably want to go 100% Derrick Henry today, and in fact, TJ, if you're in lineup HQ, ownership suggests he's going to be virtually a lot button for everybody. I don't want to be under the field on Henry, which means I gotta have 100% Derrick Henry, and you're not going to see a lot of Henry and Lamar today. I don't think, outside of people just maybe trying to load up and catch lightning in a bottle, if you will, TJ. Like that. Mm-hmm. That's what I think we're seeing here. But I don't know, man. I think Burrow or Russell Wilson is the way to go today. And I know Butthole was saying Chief basically just described Lamar's last game. The difference is Lamar had 87 yards rushing. So once again, and I get it, like 2 passing touchdowns, I get it, but he had 87 yards.
It won't matter if Burrow throws 5, which he does seemingly every week.
So my point is, like, if you're going to win today at QB, so Butthole, I know he had 29 festivals. Hear me out. I'm not saying that you can't play Lamar, but at some point Lamar's going to come out of this game if they're up 30 and Derrick Henry has 3 rushing touchdowns. Like I'm saying, the likelihood of Derrick Henry having 3 rushing touchdowns today, I feel like it's more likely than usual. But once again, Butthole, I'm not telling anyone to not play Lamar. I just think Burrow or Wilson may be a better option because they're going to be pushing each other a little bit. Both teams should be pushing each other. And that's really, really where I'm leaning here. So I value Jamar Chase a little bit more than Lamar today. If I'm playing Burrow, I might actually try to get to Chase and Higgins as an example. You get what I'm saying, TJ? So Lamar, he ends up outside in the cold for me today because I can't play just in terms of lineup theory or lineup construction in theory for me. If I'm playing Joe Burrow today on a small slate, I'm getting him in at least 2 pass catchers.
That is exactly what I'm doing in my single entry, and that's what my priority is the Burrow, Higgins, Chase combo. I want to play all 3 of these guys together. That is leaving me without Lamar and in my main lineup as without Derrick Henry, fading him today. So that's my biggest stand for tournaments, is hoping that this game is over at halftime and it's the backups for Baltimore handling the rest of this game. It's scary because even if it is over at halftime, they could have 35 points. Lamar could have 4 touchdowns and it doesn't matter. And because Pittsburgh's defense is good, Cincinnati just doesn't get there. 100% possible. But you got to take your stand somewhere. And I'm on this, and I'm doing the similar build today where I'm going all aboard Cincinnati.
Yeah. Now, here's what I will say. I do think there's a path where you could go Russell Wilson, still play 2 pass catchers from the Bengals. Hear me out. You can still get Jamar. You still get T. Higgins. And you're getting Derrick Henry. You see what I'm saying? Now, that's not leaving you a lot of money remaining, TJ, but I don't need a whole bunch today if I'm playing Russell Wilson, I'm probably getting to Freiermuth at 3,900. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying that there are ways for me to do it. I'm probably taking, the Ravens defense is going to be chalky. Maybe I just come off of them and just take the Steelers defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying there's just ways to do it and still have the upside you need for tournaments. So, TJ, I know we kind of talked about quarterback and then kind of blending it with the other positions. Let's move to running back and talk about Derrick Henry, who is seemingly going to be almost 100% owned today. Do you think it's the right call? I sure do.
Yeah, I certainly don't think it's wrong, but I'm actually not doing it in my main lineup. I'm going the Derrick Henry fade today. If I were doing a cash build or trying to get as close to optimal as I could, yes, absolutely. You just jam Derrick Henry in. But I'm actually going with the Derrick Henry fade today, closing my eyes and crossing my fingers.
God bless you, brother. I can't do it. And the only reason why, TJ, I'm very conscious of, like, Cleveland is basically not deciding to suit up and try in this game. And so it's just like, how does Derrick Henry not fall in the end zone once? In fact, how does he not fall in the end zone twice? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you for sure.
Yeah. Like, I just feel like Cleveland's giving up here. And it feels like Henry's going to run away with it. So you're not playing Henry in your main team. Who are you most interested in?
So the guy that I am prioritizing, I don't actually have any big priorities among the running backs because of Derrick Henry fade. Now, I think the best thing you can do on this slate is essentially leave $5,300 for a flex or a running back position and say, if Chase Brown plays, I'm playing Najee Harris. If Chase Brown does not play, I'm playing Khalil Herbert, because I would like Herbert better than Harris in that situation, but I'm totally fine playing Harris if Chase Brown ends up in the lineup. I don't think I have a ton of interest in Chase Brown anyways. Now, I do think he makes for a great GPP play if he plays, and I would try and get over the field on him if I was running a lot of lineups, but I'm not getting there in my one because I'm prioritizing their passing game in this spot. I think it's totally okay to play Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren together, especially if Chase Brown plays and you don't get Khalil Herbert. You can definitely double up on those running backs. I think you can play both of the Baltimore running backs together with Justice Hill out. I think you can run some Keaton Mitchell in this one with Derrick Henry or without Derrick Henry. So in my main lineup, I'm fading Derrick Henry and I'm playing Keaton Mitchell.
I totally get it. Here's the question for you. At the running back position. So we know that Jerome Ford obviously is, not going to play today. Where are you at on Dante Foreman at 4,900? Like, what are your thoughts there?
I'm not getting there. I just don't really see a path where he has a really big ceiling. So no Foreman for me in this spot. Didn't realize I had exit him out. I'm going without him. Yes, he's a starting running back, but maybe they use Cabote, maybe they use John Kelly Jr. I would probably rather go to Kelly than Foreman, because it seems more likely to me that they go, hey, let's see what we got in this young gun, as opposed to Foreman, where it's like they know exactly what Deonta Foreman is.
Yep, totally get it. TJ, listen. So first of all, on this slate today, I think it's a big deal for the construction. Hear me out. This isn't about Dante Foreman. This is about the people that everyone wants to play. So there's kind of this weird split between Najee and Jaylen Warren, right? Where it's like they're both at about the same ownership. But it feels to me like if we think this is going to be a shootout, shouldn't we just be going all in on Jaylen Warren, who's probably going to catch 5 or 6 passes in this thing? You get what I'm saying? Like,
I hear you for sure.
Doesn't this feel like Jaylen Warren just trots out here? Like, so the last time they played Cincinnati, Jaylen Warren had, I'm trying to find his targets here. He had 4 targets. But since then, TJ, his workload is semi-picked up. Do we think he has 5 or 6 targets today? Like, I think if it comes down to it there in the shootout, he does, which means he's got the rushing upside, the catching upside, the touchdown upside. And he's much low. Brown, Warren, Najee, Dante Foreman seem to all be projecting the same ownership range, where I think we could just get some leverage on the field. Like, I could still lock in Henry and play Warren. What are your thoughts on Warren and this split with Najee? And then I promise we'll move on.
Yeah, and Warren is definitely my priority over the Pittsburgh backs. If I'm choosing one of him and Najee, it's definitely Jaylen Warren. The reason I like getting to some Najee is just because you can plan to play Khalil Herbert and then pivot if it doesn't work out. But Jaylen Warren is definitely the priority over the two. He seems to have kind of taken over the backfield a little bit.
Okay. That's kind of my read. We're moving to wide receiver, folks. But before we do that, you need to get your hands on RG Combo Lite. The holiday season, even though it's the new year, brings us some huge DFS contests for the NBA and NFL. We want you to have a massive holiday takedown or a new year takedown. So we're taking $10 off your first month of Combo Lite. That means access to our SimLabs lineup, building tool, and content from some of your favorite DFS analysts for just $19.99. It's an affordable subscription that has everything you need to build effective lineups. Score a big win this holiday season. TJ, all right, we're going to wide receiver. Clearly, I think Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are probably priorities today. Definitely feels like it. But when I did check the blitz projections. We're anticipating Jerry Jeudy to just kind of own the yardage today and own the receiving for the Browns. I think Chase and Higgins are definitely primary options. It gets a little muddy between Pickens and Jeudy because is Bailey Zappi going to be able to throw for 200 plus? And if he does, it feels like Jerry Jeudy is going to have the bulk of that. What are your thoughts? I think we both agree Chase and Higgins are primary options today. What are your thoughts on Pickens and Jeudy?
Yeah, weirdly enough, I disagree with the projection. I disagree with the field. I don't think this is particularly close. I think George Pickens is way, way better of a play today than Jerry Jeudy. I don't want to have any Bailey Zappi or Dorian Thompson-Robinson throwing him the ball. I'm good. Like, I'd rather play Pickens where we know Cincinnati's offense is going to be trying to push it. Russ likes to throw the ball deep. To me, it is Pickens over Jeudy by a large margin.
Yeah, that's kind of my read. Once again, hint, I do like Russell Wilson, I think, a little bit more in the field today.
We do have a question. Like, I was going to wait on questions, but since it's right here, like Achilles asked DK Cash, Pickens and likely or Jeudy or Gesicki. To me, that's Pickens and likely for sure. I do like Gesicki better than likely straight up, but I like Pickens enough more than Jeudy that I would go with that side, especially because Nelson Aguilar is still out. And so that does mean more routes run, assuming this is within 4 touchdowns for Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, totally get that for sure. And I do like Pickens more than Jeudy today because I still think it's important to have something to play for, TJ. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, you know, when these two teams, it's a division game, but I still think both of these teams, are playing for a lot here. And Pickens at 6,600, definitely a better play in my book. Anybody at the bottom here, like the Elijah Moores, the Mike Williams, the Van Jeffersons, the, Calvin Austins, the Yoshivas, any of those guys that you like particularly, because I'm not real high on the Baltimore passing game today. So I'm just I'm kind of scratching out Zay Flowers. I'm kind of scratching out, what's his name? Bateman. I'm kind of scratching those guys out. I'm just focused on the passing game from the Steelers and Cincinnati, and that could be a big mistake, TJ. But that's just my read on how I feel like today's slate is going to go. What are your thoughts on any of these other, cheaper options today?
So to me, it's a lot more viable to try and go without Henry and Lamar than it is cheaper Baltimore plays. And the reason for that is because, like, we think, yes, Baltimore is going to run away with this and maybe rest their starters in the second half, but they're still going to score 3, 4, 5 touchdowns before that happens. Now, if those get spread out, there's a good chance that Lamar or Derrick Henry don't get there if the Bengals go off and Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, those guys score a ton of points. But if 1 or 2 of those touchdowns go to Rashad Bateman, it doesn't matter if he doesn't play the entire second half because he's probably going to be optimal for his price tag. And so Bateman, Likely, and Andrews, I think, are a lot more viable if you're playing that style of build. And so Bateman, I don't mind at 4,600. Yoshivas, I don't mind at 4K. My favorite of the group is Calvin Austin at 4,100. People kind of don't seem to realize that he is better when George Pickens plays. He doesn't get the ton more snaps or targets when he's out because he's more of a gadget guy. He's more of a secondary guy. And so Calvin Austin, I really like in this spot. Pickens gets the ton of attention. Austin gets one-on-one coverage and can beat a guy because he's really fast. I would prioritize him over Elijah Moore if I had the salary. I don't really like any of these cheap guys. I don't want to get to them if I don't have to. I like the tight ends better than them.
Tight ends, where we might be making a splash today, TJ. If you haven't signed up for Splash Sports, still, now is the time. Use the promo code ROTO10. And when you play $100 in quick picks, you'll get another $50. Once again, that's code ROTO10. And when you play $100 in quick picks, you'll get another $50. TJ, we're moving to tight end. How do we feel about it today? I like Pat Freiermuth a great deal. And he actually isn't projected to be the highest owned. Looks like Jordan Akins. People are going to be rolling to him today because he's cheap. I like Freiermuth. I think this is a good spot just to play him in general. It feels like he has probably the most stable market share, not market share, but most stable situation today. Gesicki obviously will have some targets also. So I'm not saying that like he's not an option, but I definitely think those are 2 guys we need to be planting our flags with today. How are you feeling about the tight end position?
So tying this back to running back, I think there's a really important thing to keep in mind here with tight end, and that's a really good pairing, I think, for that later game is Khalil Herbert and Pat Freiermuth. And now if we get news that Chase Brown is going to play, then you switch that to Najee Harris and Mike Gesicki. Same pricing, so that works out totally fine there. I prefer Gesicki over Freiermuth. Gesicki's going to be my favorite today just because I want to get as much exposure to that Cincinnati passing game as possible. I see we have a chat, Chris Longo asking Mark Andrews or Isaiah Likely. Well, if you can afford Mark Andrews, he's the best tight end play on the slate. Even if he only plays like the first half, like Andrews is still the top raw points option today. Likely is a lot cheaper, so I have no problem going down to Likely. With Freiermuth, Gesicki, and Likely, I basically would just rank them as whichever one I can fit in my lineup. If I can go all the way up to Freiermuth, sure. Unless maybe Burrow is my quarterback, then I'd stick with Gesicki. If I can't afford Gesicki or Freiermuth, but I can afford Likely, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I like all of them better than Jordan Akins. I think people are overrating Jordan Akins on this slate because like Dorian Thompson-Robinson just peppers tight ends with targets. He did it with Akins 2 games in a row. He did it with Njoku 2 games in a row.
Zappy's going to start. I don't see how this even works.
Right? Like I don't know if Bailey Zappi will stare at the tight end and just target them 10 times a game.
But like Bailey likes to push the ball down the field. Like we've seen this Bailey Zappi show, and he does want to push the ball a little bit. Like Bailey Zappi's probably much closer to Jameis Winston than like, I don't know, Tyler Huntley. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. It's just my thing with Robinson is even though he like Dorian Thompson-Robinson, even though he was horrific, he would target the tight end 10 times a game. And so it made the tight ends very viable. I don't know that Zappi's going to be doing that. I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball. And I think he might be spreading it out to Judy and to Moore, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know that Akins is going to be the guy that gets a ton of targets like he did with Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Yeah, totally get it. TJ, let's move to defenses. So everybody, I think, wants to play the Ravens. Gosh, the Ravens are going to be so chalky today. Like, I don't mind chalky Derrick Henry, which almost makes me feel like I should be okay with chalky Ravens. Defense is such a high variance thing. But hear me out here, TJ. I don't want to play it. But if you ask me, like, are they the best defensive player on the slate? The answer is probably yes.
Yeah, 100%.
What are your thoughts?
I'm currently going Ravens in all of the lineups that I have built. It has grown since we started the show from 1 to 4. Now the other three still are, in terms of dollars, still lower than what the 1 equals. So like the Joe Burrow stack I have going is still the bigger one. But I really do like the Ravens here. Like, it's just so tough to see a scenario that they don't end the game with at least 10 fantasy points. And if that's the case, yeah, maybe somebody else gets there, but does it really matter? The Steelers would probably be my next favorite team to go with here, and just hope that this isn't the Bengals day today. And the Steelers have a really good defense, and so they're going to shut them down. I think that would probably be my next favorite way to go with it. The Bengals are fine, but I would rather just get up to the Ravens. Even the Browns, like, for one, it's so random that you can play any of the low-owned defenses if you want to. But the Browns, I could see a path as well where it's like we get all of the Ravens backups in the second half, and so somebody fumbles, they return it for a touchdown or something like that. Because the backups in special teams everybody doesn't know what they're doing, and a kick gets returned for a touchdown. Random stuff happens. So you 100% can go with any of these teams. For me personally, because I'm making some weird stands in other places in my lineup, I'm just loading up on the Ravens.
Okay. Totally sounds good. Once again, I do think they're the best defense. I do think the Steelers are sneaky because the Steelers can get sacks, fumble recoveries. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I do think this game could be a little bit of back and forth. And obviously, just trying to account for the fact that when teams score, defenses lose points. The Ravens feel like the one defense where they can play some shutout ball today. So totally get that. TJ, I'm going to go ahead and move on over to questions because I have the same philosophy pretty much on FanDuel as I do on DraftKings today because it's such a small slate. So I don't really have a differing philosophy. So I'm going to the live stream. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, TJ. It looks like you.
No, I agreed 100%. Like, I think it makes even more sense to pay up for Jackson and Burrow on FanDuel than it does on DraftKings because I don't think the salary going down to Russell Wilson, it's as big of a gap to matter. It's a lot smaller on FanDuel. And I still, as gross as it sounds, like the idea of going with the cheap running backs as opposed to Derrick Henry. I think you can play Keaton Mitchell all the way down at 4,800. Jaylen Warren is the cheapest of that group, so he is by far the best of them. But it's the same situation with Najee Harris and Khalil Herbert. Harris only $200 more. I like Herbert better, but if you're gonna play, if you're gonna try and play him, leave that extra $200 on the table so you can swap to Harris just in case Chase Brown plays.
Yeah, totally love that, and I think that's a great call in terms of a little 2v2, TJ, that you can squeeze in. It's like
you said, though, the pricing is almost like exactly the same across the board. It's just Warren is cheaper, and then the QB savings to Wilson, I don't think it matters as much there.
Yep, totally get it. So I did see here. So Bergona was saying, does Derrick Henry have incentives? I can't see him playing 4 quarters if they are up 20. Ravens, Derrick Henry can hit huge incentive versus the Browns. He has 1,783 rushing yards and 14 touchdowns, right? He's already earned $500,000 for hitting 1,200 rushing yards, 1,500 rushing yards, and 13 rushing touchdowns. He can pick up another 500,000 if he can score another rushing touchdown to bring him to 15. Let's see, what's the other one he has? So yeah, that's basically what it is. He hits another touchdown, TJ. he's going to pick up another $500,000. I don't see any way he doesn't get another touchdown today.
I think he also breaks the Ravens single season rushing record with that. So that's the thing. We'll talk about this more on the Sunday shows tomorrow, but I feel similarly to Derrick Henry as I do about Mike Evans tomorrow. And that's, yes, there are a lot of incentives and it's going to be really good for them. But if Mike Evans reaches his incentives, that's 5 catches for 83 yards. Who cares? He's 8K. He needs a mega game at 8K to get there, which he may as well get, which is why I'll still play him in my Tampa stacks. But it's why I'm prioritizing Brian Thomas Jr. over him. Yeah, Derrick Henry can get a touchdown and like more than 80 or whatever yards it is for an extra incentive boost. But Derrick Henry gets 90 yards and a touchdown and then they sit him. I'm going to be very happy that I faded him. So it's the incentives don't really come into play for their salaries to me because they need to do a lot more than reach their incentives to pay off their salaries anyway.
Yeah. And the other thing too is, here's the thing about the Ravens. Why I keep saying they're going to run away with this thing and sit late. If they win today, TJ, they clinch the NFC North. The AFC North. So this isn't, they're not playing around, I don't think. Again, this is why I love the defense and the defense should be good and Henry should be good. I think he goes for over 100. I think he has 2 touchdowns in him today, TJ. Just to get them across the board. Because I don't think they're going to have to pass late. So I just want to clear that up. This is coming from Carolina guy 828. Never mind. You've already answered it, TJ. You said, oof, no, go keep Mitchell. Stop. I got that from the live stream chat. Looks like
he's asking about Cordell Patterson, and you can't do. I don't think you want to do Cordell Patterson in this spot. If you want to try a super cheap running back, say you can't afford Keaton Mitchell, I would even rather go John Kelly Jr., go all the way down to 4K. Say Cleveland gets obliterated. Maybe this 4K back catches 5 passes in the second
half. Listen, okay, I listen. This might be the post of the day. James Duran said books can pay all these dudes double to tank their incentives. James, I think you might win post of the day. I don't know if people realize how funny that is. TJ, I don't see any more relevant questions. I'm going to go back. Falcor says FanDuel single entry Flowers, so that's Zay Flowers and Cincinnati defense, or Yoshivas and Baltimore defense.
I guess it would I think the correct answer is Flowers and Cincinnati defense.
Yeah, because because Flowers for sure has a higher.
You're gonna feel stupid if it's just you're gonna feel stupid if Baltimore scores 4 rushing touchdowns and Flowers has 2 catches and doesn't play in the second half, and then Yoshivas scores a touchdown. But considering how random defense is and how much better Zay Flowers is, that is the correct answer.
Yeah. My correct answer is, can you rework that to get something a little bit better with the Ravens defense? But that may, obviously you're asking us the question because you landed it a certain way, but I would maybe try to work it a little bit differently. All right, TJ. I don't have any more questions in the live stream chat. I don't have any more questions in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, Marty, just wondering what my core play today would be, and it's not just one; it's a full build, and it's the Burrow, Chase, Higgins, Gesicki triple stack.
Yeah, so there you have it. It looks like, and I saw you answer that, so we were, that's why I didn't worry about it. Once you said the triple stack, I saw you answer the question. We want to thank you, everybody, once again. This is a little bit of a Saturday showdown pre-lock show. For those of you that might be wondering, what are we going to be doing tomorrow? Don't worry, TJ's producing. TJ, give the people a little snippet of tomorrow, and then we'll get on out of here.
Yeah, later today we do still have the NBA show. We got a Triple T one. It's me, Tim, and Taylor handling that one at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Then tomorrow, myself and Tim will be doing Grinders Live first thing in the morning. We got Neil and Eric for GPP final takes right after. And then finally, the return of the 3-man booth for crunch time because everybody's back from their holidays. We're not sick anymore. We're coming back. And so Chief will be leading you out to lock alongside Britt Devine and the OG himself, Chris Prince Beer. So we got a really nice squad tomorrow. And then, of course, as always, the final Sunday night football game of the regular season. Chief and I got you for the pre-lock show.
Yes, sir. And we will be back tomorrow, and it will be spicy. I'm Chief. That's TJ. This has been the Showdown Pre-Lock Show. We'll see you back here tomorrow.